Hey there, and welcome to another episode of Unscripted Exchanges.
We're doing it again. We're doing big things over here, aren't we?
We're going to keep releasing episodes, I think. We're just going to keep rolling with it, so hopefully you're enjoying, you're liking. I'm Cole, one of your hosts.
I'm Hayden Huber. And yeah, like you said, this is all about exponential growth. I think we're on episode 5 here, and we continue to get better and learn a lot from each episode.
Eventually we're going to be like, what episode are we? Oh, I've been like that the past few weeks, so I think we're gonna get to that point where we're releasing them nonstop.
If it wasn't for the cheat sheet in front of me right here, I would think that we're on episode like 100.
Yeah, we're ready to go, man. We're ready to go. So I think for today's episode, I want to start off, Hayden, with a comment about like how I'm feeling today.
I First of all, I can kind of tell your energy is up more than normal, and you literally always pack a lot of energy, and I love it.
But it's bundled up right now, man. I'm like ready to go. I was heading over here, so I was heading over to our studio to record this episode, and I was thinking just like how blessed I am, and not just blessed in the sense of things and materials, but blessed in like the opportunity to do something like this, the opportunity to have friends and family and a great career and just like things moving in my direction. And I also like I'm gonna kind of get into something right now, which is it's a book I actually recently read, which you're gonna love this. I feel like I've been catching, and this is a Matthew McConaughey book I'd recommend. And Matthew McConaughey, if you're listening right now, would love to have you on the show. Greenlights, and I feel like I've been hitting a lot of green lights as of late, and that could be in any form or fashion, but I think I've been hitting those, and I think I've been acknowledging them, and I feel just very energized by that.
Why don't you explain to those that are listening that might not be too familiar with what a green light is, or what does that mean to you?
So a green light means you've got an opportunity to either put your foot to the pedal and go after something, or you have the opportunity to stop, think about it, and not do anything. So for me, a green light is the opportunity to say yes, the opportunity to move forward, and it's also kind of that culmination of things that you have been doing that kind of come to fruition. So for me, it's a culmination of I've hit parts of my life where I've said I'm not going to stop, I'm not going to slow down, and it was a green light in my life. I was able to say, yes, let's do it. Let's go after it and let's accomplish something. And it's across the board. And once you start looking at life like that, I mean, it's exciting, man. It gets me jacked up.
It's all about mindset, And I used to be one of those critics out there like, yeah, okay, whatever. But it truly is what you believe more times than not is, what you're going to attract. It might take time. It might take, a year. It might take 10 years. But it's all about what you believe upstairs, and at the same time making sure that you're putting in the time and work to live out your goals or your aspirations. Because just because you say that, oh, I'm going to be an NBA superstar, and that was the first thing that came to my mind, doesn't mean that you're going to automatically achieve that because you believe it. You need to actually put in the practice, which takes thousands and thousands of hours to become more than just an amateur.
Well, when you start hitting shots, right, you shouldn't stop. You should be like, oh, I've hit 50 shots, so I should stop. You should keep shooting, right?
And just because you miss a few doesn't mean you stop either, right?
Exactly. So again, I think the first kind of segment we wanted to hit or topic or conversation was just around green lights. What parts of our lives are we hitting and we're seeing that we're getting that go ahead, that go ahead vibe of keep pushing, keep going, and where have doors opened because of that. So I've got a lot to say on that. I'm going to ask Hayden where this is a question for you actually. So we've been talking a lot. We've been together. We're bouncing ideas off each other every single day.
Yep.
And I want to know, because this was kind of like something that just came organically, like when I walked in the door today.
You sure it wasn't scripted?
It wasn't scripted.
Well, we're on unscripted exchanges.
Unscripted, yeah, unscripted. But we've got that same attitude, and I think my question to you is, where have you been catching green lights, so to speak, and where have you been seeing that momentum like build up in your life?
Yeah, so I'll piggyback onto some of your statements around green lights. I've got a little bit of a different definition. Basically, a green light to me is, again, seeing an opportunity out there, going for it, going all in, whether or not you succeed. And again, what you define as success is up to you as an individual. So for me, one of the big green lights that I'm seeing in my life is my consistency with my fitness and health and nutrition. So I'm constantly looking at ways to better my health. Health, I can't speak. I said it.
It's just like when you said
with an F.
It's when you said mission.
Yeah.
I'm never gonna let you.
I'm making up words over here. We should.
He's on a mission. He's on a mission. He's on a mission.
So basically, I've been focusing on my health and my nutrition. And for me specifically, that's all about making sure that I'm very cognizant of the food that I'm putting into my body. And then from a fitness standpoint, I am working out almost daily. I've got a pretty strict regimen, as we discussed previously on one of our episodes there. So for me, yeah, I'm catching a lot of momentum or a lot of green lights there and seeing a lot of results.
Yeah, but how long did it take you? That's the thing I want to jump into, because a lot of times for me in life, at least, it takes like that time.
You're right. I'm only highlighting the wins that are being shown.
No. You look good. You look healthy. But what I'm getting at is, like, how much time did it take you to realize that you were hitting those green lights? That you were, like, that momentum that you were building up, it switched like that.
I don't think it was one particular moment, but again, going back to the mindset, topic there, it started with that. It's like, okay, do I want to continue doing the same thing day in and day out, or do I want to try to make some change in my life that's going to lead to better outcomes and opportunities? So it was just that, shift in mindset and just consistency. So yeah, when it comes to working out, definitely started on the ground floor, literally back on the ground doing some exercises, and I wasn't, big or strong or anything like that, and I still probably look scrawny to some, but just kind of continually putting in the work, upping my regimen, the weights, the frequency. Like it took time. It's not like I went out there on day one and was trying to, break my back. I was trying, a couple of different exercises here and there. And then over time, I started to do a little bit more, exercises that took a lot more energy and effort, were a little bit more challenging, and stuff that, not everyday people could probably do, if that makes sense. And a better way of describing that is, I had to learn how to walk before I could, run.
You're not doing marathons, okay? You're posting shit that's like, oh, I've ran 11 miles a day. I'm like, I don't think I ever walked 11 miles in a day, and I don't know how long. I did a hike over the summer that was like 8.5 or 9 miles.
That's awesome.
It was a hike. You're like, oh, like 750 time. I'm like, a 750 mile for me? It's like I'm breaking a sweat, okay?
Well, first off, I think hikes are I think
different workout.
Yeah, exactly. I think those are certainly.
So you couldn't do an 8.5 mile hike then? What you're saying?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, you could.
I think you have the same type of fitness level that I'm at. Is what I'm saying.
Appreciate that. You made my night, just so you know.
But again, yeah, I was not a big runner 3 years ago, and it just started with that mindset shift. Jeez, I'm really struggling for words here.
I wasn't gonna say anything.
I'm gonna have to, edit that out. Anyhow, I also got some inspiration from some other folks online. Casey Neistat was actually a pretty big influencer on YouTube.
Shout out to Casey.
Yeah, Casey, would love to have you on. I know you're one of the biggest creators out there, and really inspired by your work. So started watching his content. He was a big runner, and that's kind of how I got, motivated to get out there and try something new. I got out of my comfort zone, which is another one of those many quotes that you can see on the board behind us, which it wasn't easy at first, but I literally would start with a mile a day, or not every day, but a mile a couple of days a week. And then I started to build that up to 2 or 3 every time I would go out. And it was all about just consistency and building up that momentum. and I started to catch green lights with hitting PRs and growing further and faster, and it was just really motivating to keep that up. And I got a runner's high, so it was even better. It was icing on the cake at the end of the day. So yeah, it's certainly awesome to build a lot of momentum in your life, and like you were alluding to, it's something that takes time, but if you have the right attitude and the mindset for it, you can certainly achieve a lot of things that you certainly probably wouldn't believe when you first set out.
Couldn't like green lights be like glass half full kind of thing?
Exactly.
Right? I mean, it's kind of like, hey, I'm gonna look at this and be like, okay, I'm gonna stop and like not go after it, or I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna double down. Like this is a glass half full. This is a pivotal moment of my life. I'm gonna acknowledge that. I'm gonna put my all into it. I'm gonna go full badass on this. Sounds like that's what you did. I mean, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and
I can't run 11 miles, so.
Hey, that's because it's the attitude that you're telling yourself.
But if I wasn't like paying attention to social media as much, I wouldn't even know that you ran 11 miles. So.
Right.
There's my problem right there.
Well, all you gotta
follow
do
Andy
is
Box because he's got some awesome fitness exercises.
all you gotta do is start running with me, and we'll make sure you hit that 11-mile marker.
I'll just take some shortcuts and I'll pick you up with the golf cart.
Hey, that works too.
Or I'll just hit you with it. No, I think that's unbelievable. I think that was something that you're passionate about, and I think it shows. It comes through. Like you got this big ass smile on your face when you're talking about it. And it's exciting. It's exciting.
Well, it's a lot easier to do things when you're passionate about them. And you hear that a lot. But if you really enjoy and love what you're doing, then you don't treat it as work or, oh, I got to do this. It's, again, it goes back to that belief or that mindset where it's like, I have the opportunity to wake up, try to get better. I might not achieve my goals today, but I'm working towards those bigger and long-term goals, whether those are going to take me a year, 10 years to hit. And sometimes you don't end up reaching your goals. And I'm fine with recognizing that I might not hit all of the goals that I'm aspiring to achieve, but I'm willing to go out and give it my all. And as I said a few minutes back, I'm all in. And 2022 is going to be a big freaking year for both of us.
Big year.
I mean, look at this podcast. If we had the attitude or mindset of, there's a million other podcasts out there. Why would two guys from Cincinnati, Ohio want to get involved? It's like, no, that's not the right mindset. We're two smart guys that have a lot of business knowledge. We have a very big network where we can learn from others and they can share their experience with a broader network of people. And we're also very creative. So I think there's big things.
Greenlights.
Exactly.
To quote the great Greenlights.
Exactly might be my favorite response to a lot of your statements. I got to work on a different word there.
You should say fantastic.
Fantastic. Do you have any green lights going on in your life in particular that you'd like to share?
Green lights for days. Mine are a little bit different. Not so much on the fitness level.
Well, you have a wife and kids, so you're in a different stage of your life than I am.
Yeah, and that's where I was going to jump into. So for me, being a father of two, a big part of my story, Hayden, and to all you listeners out there, a big part of my story is that I was given this challenge at a young age. My wife and I was 19 years old, about to turn 20. That I was having a daughter, and it was like super surprise. People that know me, people that don't know me, I was off the walls. I was kind of just doing my thing, getting through life, skating by the seat of my pants. And that was fine for me at that point. But it's like, here's a baby, and figure this out. So that was the first opportunity. If I can look back and say the first chance I got to get a green light was, hey, you can either back down and not take this challenge on, or you can say, let's go, bring it on. And so I said, bring it on. And if I look back to the past almost 8 years of my life. My daughter Ava, she'll be 8 January 26th. Shout out to Ava.
Happy birthday.
She's not allowed to listen to this though because I say some curse words and that's not allowed in our household. But that was that past 8 years, I've had several opportunities to either grow and move forward or stop and stand still. And to fathers and people moving forward in their lives out there, for me, there was no that I was blessed with the ability to say there's no other choice. I either look at it as an opportunity or I don't. And to me, looking at it as a negative wasn't a choice. So progressed the past 8 years, I've caught those green lights with milestones in Ava's life where she's going to church, she's believing in Christ, and she's believing in treating others as she would want to be treated, and she's saying thank you, and she's holding the doors.
And I'm sure that makes you a better person.
Oh, it's unbelievable, right? It's unbelievable. It's going, okay, so I'm doing things right. And so for me, I'm catching those green lights. I'm going, all that time I put in, right, is being exponentially returned to me. And the same thing with my marriage, right? My wife and I, we were young. We didn't know it all. Amanda has been an unbelievable support system.
And by the way, we still don't know it all. We're still learning.
No, we're definitely still learning. But I've caught green lights along the way with that relationship and friendships. I've got hopefully all of my friends that I know are listening to this. They could hear me say I've caught amazing opportunities, even with you, Hayden, of being able to say, hey, am I going to jump into this relationship? Am I going to be supportive and loyal and not judge, but offer a helping hand or advice or anything like that? So to me, those have been super big green lights. And then on the business side of things, in my career, I mean, I've been catching green lights left and right? All the time you put in this stuff. I'm in sales, business to business sales. That's a tough thing to be in. We've had COVID. I mean, unless you're selling software that yada, yada, yada. There's been a lot of industries and a lot of salespeople and just things in general that have been up in the air and hard. And months and years of time you've put into things start to turn around. I'm not, today I'm getting calls from customers like, I've been working with you for 12 months. Haven't done jack. They're like, hey, we're ready to go. Hey, we're ready to go. I'm like, what? Yeah, let's roll. Let's go. Let's get it. And that to me is motivation, that the amount of time you can put in, and you go back and look at efforts you've put in, like you said, you're like, man, I've put these effort in the fitness journey, and
you got to start somewhere. Right?
You got to start somewhere.
You're planting seeds early on,
and you can look back and go, man, that was worth it. So for me, I get excited because I'm like, man, all that stuff that I did that I didn't acknowledge to myself was worth it. And you also have to take advantage of the fact that something was laid in front of you, and you can either go after it or you can overanalyze it and say, well, that doesn't worth my time. Well, great. You got to be smart about that too. I mean, some stuff's not worth your time, but some stuff, if there's a big upside and the downside is the word no, the downside is you just don't get it. Like, what do you have to lose? Now, you're betting your house on something, and that's a big different story. But I guess the point I'm making is that I've felt unbelievably blessed to be receiving affirmations that the work I'm putting in and aspects of my life, and I'm not perfect. There's things that have gone right and gone wrong.
We're still working.
I'm like, let's go. Like, bring it on. Like, I'm excited about life, and I think it's all the little things that you don't acknowledge until you get asked a question like, where'd you catch green lights? And you're like, I've been catching them for a while, and they've been right in front of me. I haven't even looked at them. So
you had a really big life event, as you were mentioning, with the birth of your daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, you had a decision to make. You could, be all down in the dumps and, I'm a young guy here. I've got a kid that I have to try to find a way to support. Or you could have, taken it as, this is a blessing in my life. I can't wait to see how I can grow with my daughter. And my wife, and it sounds like you certainly took the positive route there.
It's crazy too, and you're exactly right. I'll wrap it up with this. I had my second daughter, right? We talked about her,
mm-hmm.
And it's wild to me because the difference is, I did all this growing up with Ava, so as she was growing up, I was learning as I was going, right? I'm like, this makes sense. This is logical. She shouldn't backtalk. She shouldn't do this. She should teach her good morals. You should teach her good manners, because I don't want her to be the brat at the party, right? So you're learning stuff as you go, and watching her be a big sister to my youngest, it is just it's an amazing opportunity, and it's also just a different experience with Blake, our youngest daughter, because I'm like our newborn. We're like this is just exciting, and it's like it's rejuvenating, and it's 8 years ago I wasn't thinking, man, I'm gonna have another daughter. So how the hell do I get through this? Is what I was thinking.
I mean, I think it's amazing. I do this exercise every so often. Like, just looking back a year ago, like, I'm not the same person today than I was then. And, over the course of 5, 10 years, it's just remarkable. I mean, 10 years ago for us, we were graduating high school, and certainly not.
Dude, what party was biggest, right?
Right.
Where can we go drink some beer and not get caught by our parents?
Exactly. All I needed was a little bit of beer money, some beer, and it was a good time. It was a good weekend. But one more green light to share here, not for us really, but the Cincinnati Bengals. They've been catching a lot of green lights here. I know both you and I are big fans because we're born and raised here in Cincinnati, Ohio. But the Bengals are absolutely on fire right now, and they've got a big playoff game coming up.
The Raiders are going down. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah.
We stomped on them when we played them this year.
I mean,
there's
a reason why they play the game. I think it's going to be a tough game, but I agree. I think the Bengals are going to come out on top.
The Bengals will come out on top. Mark me on that. Make your place your bets now.
You're manifesting.
It's just going to happen, right?
Yep.
And then Joe Mixon is going to come on our podcast.
All right, I love that.
Yeah, and Joe Burrow probably next. I mean, he might maybe both at the same time.
I love it.
We'll figure it out. But no, dude, Bengals coming up. Who day, baby?
Who day?
Who day? I think they're catching green lights.
Yeah, and I think
positive vibes only. Make
exactly.
It happen.
The energy up here in Cincinnati is certainly it's kind of hard to describe, but I think there's a lot of optimism around the city, which you can see that just with how people are talking about not only the Cincinnati Bengals, but just the downtown in general. I think, there's a change in mindset with some of the businesses downtown, the local restaurants. I think, people are riding this green light that the Bengals have, and good energy. And I'm really excited to hopefully have the Bengals continue on with their season.
They're going to kick some ass.
Let's go.
Burrow in the Super Bowl. The Bengals in the Super Bowl. That's all I'm saying. That's the last thing I'll say about that. So I think we've talked about green lights, and I think another topic we wanted to hit. You had the topic, I didn't.
What topic?
I don't know.
Actually,
what are we going to talk about?
I know what topic.
Dude, spitball. This is unscripted, so just throw it out there.
Yeah, I know. Well, we talk about some things behind the scenes or off camera a little bit, just some themes or topics. But as we were just mentioning a couple minutes back around, we aren't the same people that we were in the past. I think you and I had a conversation about, like, who do we want to be? Like, what kind of role models do we want to be? And we're not up here to say we're perfect because, we have a lot to work on, but we both have siblings. And we both have siblings that are in college, and I have a sibling that just recently graduated from college, and I'm going to give them probably some unsolicited advice.
Whether they want it or not.
Exactly, and just anyone out there. I guess, if you were to put yourself in your sibling's shoes and you were back in school or in college, like, what advice would you give them?
Oh, I'm giving it to them right now, right?
Yeah.
So first thing I'd say is make sure you've got a very, very good LinkedIn profile. Okay. I think that's important. Career-wise.
Why do you think that's important, though?
Because recruiters like to look at that stuff. So if you're trying to get a job, make it look good. Make sure you got a good network.
What is making it look good? I know I'm digging in here, but we want to make sure that
buzzwords, keywords,
okay.
What you've done at school,
yep.
What you've been a part of, whether it's extracurricular activities like working down at this homeless shelter or doing this for your fraternity or sorority. That's huge for me. And this is the career side of things. 100% make sure that's updated and relevant. Mm-hmm. I think that's every single day a bigger part of what recruiters, what other people look at to kind of gauge somebody, which again is a catch-22 because it's online media, so you can make it look however you want. It's all editable by yourself.
A little bit of smoke and mirrors.
Yeah, it is. It's marketing. But I think that's number one. I think number two is don't be afraid to not have it figured out. And I talked to, my brother.
I love that.
My brother and sister were both back in town, and Savannah, shout out Savannah, she's graduating from OU this upcoming year, and she's just absolutely turned it up a notch the past year and a half, 2 years, just kicking ass. Grades are unbelievable, involved, just really has it together, and she's a fantastic sister and sister-in-law to my wife, and just great person. But she's like, okay, what do I do after college, right? Where should I just go to the typical route, which go get a job, find a job, line it up, right? Doesn't matter where it's at, and go work for. And she's like, got all these different things that you could do, and then she's like, well, what if I want to go to San Francisco? Okay. She's like, yeah, what if I just want to move out there? What if I want to go back out to Charlotte? What if I go to the coast? And I'm like, do it. This is the time to do it. You're getting out of school. You've got no responsibility. So there's two things, right? Go do that. Find a job. Obviously, if you're going to go out there, don't just move out there and say, I'm going to figure out when I go. I'm going to figure out something, line something up, go look. Talk to me. Talk to your parents. Ask me to connect you. Look who I know. Look who your friends know. Find those connections.
The power of networking.
Exploit them. I'm like, exploit them. Don't be afraid to ask. Hey, can you hook me up? Can you introduce me? Don't be afraid of that. But also,
I'm gonna chime in and correct you.
Yeah.
And maybe not say exploit. And I know you meant something different.
I meant exploit.
Anyone that takes.
I meant exploit the good way. Take advantage of it.
Well, you're right. You're asking for help from your network.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Exploit, I think, has a negative
connotation.
True. I just wanted to jump in there and make it clear, just for anyone out there that takes things literally or just hears this out of context, or probably like, what the hell is Cole talking about? So that's why I felt like I needed to
exploit, meaning take advantage of people in your network that want to see you succeed. And there are a lot of people that you know, or your family members know, that just want to see you succeed. So if you're going to do something like that, go do it. Absolutely, 100%. You've got no strings. You've got no ties. If you're going to live in Cincinnati, I said move in with mom and dad. My opinion is move in with mom and dad. Save your money, stockpile that, invest it. There's no reason not to if you've got the opportunity to do that. So for her, I'm like, these are different avenues you could go. Don't be worried about I have to get a career in this field and stay in that. Don't be married to it. Don't be married to working for somebody else. Don't be married to anything right now, because you don't have to make that decision. You're super young. I mean, 21, 20? She'll be 22 when she graduates. You got plenty of time. So for her, that's the advice I gave her. And then for my brother, he's a junior at Ohio State, the OSU, and he's got a great head on his shoulders. Again, unbelievable brother, unbelievable uncle to Ava and Blake, and he's kind of going through that. Okay, what do I want to do in a year and a half? And I'm like, dude, just chill out. That's all good. You'll figure it out. You got time, And he's going through where do I get an internship? Where do this and that? The advice I give him is take a deep breath, shut out the noise, keep working hard at school, enjoy yourself. Because when you get out of college, you can carry that on with you, but you're not going to the frat parties every single night. You're not doing that stuff. It's a different world, so enjoy it.
There's life after college.
There's life after college, and enjoy it, and stay motivated and chase your dreams. But again, with him, he's not out of school yet. He's got 1 year, so I'm like, take a deep breath. Don't stress about it too much. You don't have to have it figured out.
Yeah, no, I agree with almost everything that you shared there. And I love the point that you made about, just taking a step back. You don't have to have it figured out. I mean, I tell people that I still don't have it all figured out. I'm learning every day about what I'm doing. And, sometimes I take a step back myself and reflect on, is this really what I want to do 10 years from now? And I'm starting to try new things and step out of my comfort zone. I mean, look at us right now. We're on this podcast. I didn't think I would see myself doing this a couple of years ago, but I'm all about trying to put eggs in multiple different baskets. I'm not putting all my eggs in one basket. And you're going to get people out there that tell you there's a philosophy of put all your eggs in one basket, which, if that's the route you want to go down, sure. I think some people struggle at times when they think of themselves as just one-dimensional or just like one thing. And you can look at like the critics out there that have told professional athletes to just, be quiet and, entertain us through your sport. And more specifically, like the critics out there that told LeBron to shut up and just dribble. Like he does a lot of different things. He's not just a basketball
Super
player.
diversified.
Yeah, and I kind of look at my life now like that. I'm not just this business guy. I'm big into health and fitness, so I want to grow in that space. I want to be a better marketer and media personality. So, I'm working on that. I'm not just this, single
dimensional. And you're making a good point too, because you do hear in life a lot, like go after one thing and just give it your all. And that's great. There's nothing wrong with that. What you're saying is like, it's good to be diversified too. And it's okay to have multiple like facets of where you're putting energy.
Try new things.
Yeah, it's okay. It's never too late to try.
I can't agree anymore with
You should have said fantastic, not
fantastic.
There we go. I like that.
I'm working on it. Yeah, but just additional advice that I would give to anyone in college or has just recently graduated is, try different things. That's how you figure out, what you enjoy. It weeds out some of the stuff that you don't really care about. And that can evolve too over time.
That's the cliche, Donald John. That's the cliche. You hear that, and it's like we're sitting here saying, like, legitimately, like, with the past 8-9 years of experience, fresh experience, like trying new things. Don't be afraid. Like, do not hesitate to jump on the bandwagon of something you think is cool and go after it. It is not going to hurt you. It's just going to make you grow.
Go all in and step out of your comfort zone. I mean, we're not sharing anything new or revolutionary here, but stuff that, we truly believe in and we've implemented in our lives, and we're seeing, a lot of positive outcomes. As we mentioned, we're catching Greenlights.
Amen, brother.
Yeah, so again, going back to just advice there with recent college grads or kids still in school is to try new things. The power of networking, which is something that you touched on. Who's in
That's
my network?
huge.
Who can I learn from? Have that learning mindset, always wanting to learn more. What today will probably change tomorrow. Maybe not that quickly, but will evolve over time. And are you evolving as a person in any field that you're in? And that's, again, why I always like to say that I'm not an expert in my field, and I never will be, because things evolve constantly. And if you think about the world that we're in, like, things are really changing at, supersonic speed. It's crazy.
100%. And I think to wrap that up, because you just made a good point, I want to clarify that comment. Remember that nobody, no matter what they say, how they act, what they do, what their title is, they're flying by the seat of their pants a lot of times too.
Yeah.
So as a college graduate or recently graduate or in school, you hear this, you get this pressure to like do all this and make this happen and tell all your friends about the awesome internship you got and you got this job. And that's great. That's fantastic. But the other person that got the good internship that you didn't get doesn't have anything more figured out than you did. They might have just had a recruiter that liked them, or they might have had a better resume. But again, don't let that as a student or as a recent grad, don't let that deter you.
Yeah, don't compare yourself to the success of someone else.
It doesn't. Yeah, everybody's different, and
we're all playing the same game, just different levels.
We are. There's a lot of people in this world. There's a lot of things you don't know. You can't know everything, and do not let yourself overestimate others and underestimate yourself.
Well said. Well, I think we've touched on a lot of good stuff today.
We let it rip, didn't we?
We certainly did. Let's add that to the counter.
I think this is cool, by the way, guys, just so you know. We added that right before this podcast.
Yeah, I love that on the board there. For those of you that are just listening and can't see the visual here, we've got an unscripted exchanges officially written on the chalkboard behind us, and it looks legit.
Set in stone.
Yeah, well, maybe one day we'll have to upgrade to like an LED light or something.
Oh, like cool. Backlit, something like neat.
Yeah. We'll work on
3D,
it.
like 3D, like something like popping out.
Was there anything else that you want to share with the world?
Not tonight. Not
No?
tonight. Not
I'm gonna
today.
call it a
Today, tonight, today, not today.
It's night.
Today, tonight, last night, whatever.
Yeah, whatever you believe is whatever you believe, right? All right, let's wrap it up. We appreciate all of you guys that have tuned in. We're getting better with each and every episode. Please reach out to unscriptedexchanges@gmail.com to let us know what topics you'd like us to discuss. We have some exciting news as well. We have a guest lined up to come on the episode number 5, number 6, sometime soon.
Coming soon.
And it's going to be great. So we're looking forward to having additional guests on. And if you want to come on the podcast, reach out to us, and we'd love to have you on.
Great, fantastic, guys. Thanks for exactly. I use your word exactly. Thank you for joining us today. We're excited to be doing this, and again, like, follow, share, give us your feedback. Let us know what you think. Hopefully, we're keeping it entertaining, and let's keep rocking and rolling.
That's right. Unscripted Exchanges. Check us out.
Unscripted Exchanges. Peace.
Thanks, guys.